one of my first advice to any DM is the world goes on even if the players do nothing.
Yeah.
That's one of the most easiest things to do, but something that a lot of DMs forget.
Yeah, because you of course have your own live stream now. Do you feel the DM pressure? Because this has also been some talk like in the D&D community, right? Sort of it has been dubbed the Mercer effect or DM Burnout. There's sort of the amount of pressure now that D&D is thankfully very, very like quickly evolving, and also the level of acting is improving and the level of immersion is bigger than ever. How do you personally cope with the fact that DMing is becoming an occupation, a legitimate one?
Well, I'm already a pro DM. I'm also DM for hire, and I'm very clear about what I am handing out. They also have some kind of influence in how graphically they want, for example, violence to be, or what kind of adventure they want to do. But most of all, especially for the live stream, it's our game. And I really can't give two shits if somebody doesn't like how I play my game.
So you're just having fun.
Yeah, exactly. And we're not doing a production of the show, for example. We're not doing it for a stage audience.
Because I was going to say, this was a whole other side of this conversation.
No fun at all. There's no fun to be had at D and Drag.
You're creating a live show with a lot of fun and
Ruddy's
a lot of
behind the camera.
audience participation.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of audience participation. You bring it really to show level.
Yeah.
I just put a camera on my home game, and if people enjoy it, they're welcome. If they come to troll, I'm fine with that too. That's it's another view. So thank you very much. Goodbye.
Regarding DM Burnout, I think that is always the better option, of course. Especially for you, I imagine it's good because you have so much experience also as a pro DM that
it helps a lot. But also I have to prepare my players. For example, guys, it could be that people are really gonna complain about something you didn't do because you didn't think of it for that at that time. For example, are you okay with this?
Yeah.
People online can be mean. A friend of ours one of the players has a knitting show on Wednesday evening. And there are people just logging in to talk shit about knitting during her show. And it's like, why though?
Yeah.
If you don't like knitting, then don't log in. That's the easy thing.
If you're one of those people, we'll send you a list of more fun stuff to do. We're pretty creative. We can fill your free time with actual stuff.
Making bread.
Baking bread.
Baking bread.
So
watching paint dry.
Oh, that's also a good one.
Yeah. So how's your experience been with producing a show so far? How has it been? What kind of troubles did you run into?
I have a lot of luck that I have some experience as a musician, that I know how a microphone works a little bit, how I can position the right one. But a lot of them was just trial and error. We just now released three videos of our testing episodes, just so people could also give us some feedback, some tips or anything else. Because we're not very good at that part, and we're learning as we go. It could be that for this Tuesday we have one setup. Could be that within a few months we have an entirely different one, or because just put some extra funds into it, or just because we are learning. Like, why ever did we do this? This is not a good place.
I think we're also struggling with that in the sense that for D and Drag we do definitely try to build this brand with a consistent logo. There we are. Hello.
There she is.
With a logo and with a visual identity, but then trying to get everything before you have like something that people will recognize, because there's so many D&D streams out there, and we're now trying to at least get some visibility. We don't want to become famous, but we want to like have a position in D&D streaming community.
Famous would be fine though, but it's a secondary goal.
I mean, like, if you want. Okay. But it's a lot of work getting there, and there's a lot of behind-the-screen stuff that people that don't produce the D&D streams themselves might actually miss out on. I think it's like 30% actually DMing, and the rest is just like producing.
Yeah, I recognize the music background as well, because I also have that, and it makes all audio things so much easier. Otherwise, we'd have to figure that out as well.
So Virgo produces most of the music for D and Drag, which is quite interesting. I do all of the editing and the visual effects. I do the 3D effects of the show. So we are sort of the self-producing team in that sense, where we are able to visualize that. But we put a full-time job into creating these episodes. And one episode, we have 2 episodes out now. One episode takes like 8 weeks, maybe not
full-time, but prep time is spread out over 8 weeks.
Yeah.
That's a lot,
For them, usually you have 2/3 of the game time. The game time is 1/3 of your total prep time for a DM.
Yeah.
So 2/3 are just preparing, and if it comes to producing the entire part and also make sure everything is pitch perfect for a real show, That's a lot more.
Yeah, it's very hard mostly because we have a very strict deadline of when the show stops, of course, because if you're playing at a theater, you have to have that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're like,
Theater
"Ah,
closes at 11.
I want to go
so
home now."
Your session got to be done.
Yeah, exactly. And that's super hard when you also want to give autonomy to your players,
Definitely.
of course. And we want to have an interesting story that we want to tell.
Yeah.
Hey.
Especially because you can't rent out a theater every other day.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
And if
definitely.
it's just a shopping session for
Yeah,
Yeah.
otherwise it would be fine. If we had a theater every other day, then it wouldn't have to be so harsh. But of
Yeah.
course, that's not the way of things.
No, but we're talking on the subject of DM burnout. Has there been a point in your D&D career where you were just done with the hobby?
Well, when I was turning 18, 19, I did quit D&D for a bit, but that's just
Yeah.
because life got in the way. My education took some time from me. My musical interests were just flying high. So that's when I was like, I have to pick something, and then D&D fell away.
Yeah.
But then again, it was also D&D 3.5, and it was a lot heavier in rules and
yeah, I can
mechanics
imagine.
than D&D 5 will probably ever be.
Yeah.
So it also took a lot more work there to also challenge players in that regard.
Yeah, I think that was like the height of the Munchkin era, right? 3.5?
It was 4, wasn't it?
Yeah, four was also
No.
4 was a different game actually. At least I played only.
I loved 4, but
Yeah.
But you're a munchkin, dear. Sorry, you were saying?
D&D 3.5 and 3.0 were very heavy in games. So they built up upon the first Dungeons Dragons, Advanced Dungeons Dragons,
Yeah,
the second and the second advanced one.
Yeah.
But 4 was a completely new game. It is more like the D&D board games, like Wrath of Sardalan, than it really was back to D&D 3.5.
Yeah.
to me it felt a little bit like a JRPG where every attack, like even like a basic attack, has like a fancy name, like Twin Wolf Strike.
Exactly.
So it was like
Oh no, now I know why you're like this.
yeah, I do have a very anime-esque. Well, if you've watched the show, you definitely see this sort of anime influences into our sessions, and I can heavily take credit for all of these influences. Yes, but yeah, it was like episode, like a 4th edition. It's like flanking, twin fang strike, and then everything with the encounters and the dailies. I like 5 a little bit better because it allows a little bit more room to choose whether you want to go that energy level. Because 5 definitely can go into very anime-ish territory,
Yeah,
but it's a
absolutely.
little bit less forced upon you, whether 4 is always very high.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything is flashy.
And also, if it comes to the anime players, if I have some new players, for example, a lot of them have anime characters brought up. There's this arena.
Definitely. So talk a little bit about
This is
that.
nuts from Fairy Tale.
Yeah. Are you into
Yeah.
anime yourself?
I do like enjoy watching a lot of shows when I have the time for it, though.
Yeah.
For example, a Sword Art Online is magnificent.
Well, there you go. That's
But then again, if you want to create Kirito in D&D, a lot of anime have solo protagonists, or
Yeah.
one very strong guy and the rest hobbles a bit behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something that you can't replicate in D&D.
No.
Creating a Goku in D&D that can just whip out the ass whooping whenever he wants to and then start eating again.
That's what all the D&D horror stories are as well, right? From DMPCs who are like just anime characters.
This is true. If somebody brings an anime character to your table, that's the first red flag.
Yeah.
No, I want to talk about something. No, because I just remembered something. No. Okay, let's. Sorry, I just went there. No. There is this very interesting thing with that D&D brings this sort of new thing to the table, because when we look at conventional video games, there is you play for 2 things, either power or identity. Old conventional video games. So you go collect coins, and you like a Candy Crush. You collect coins and you go up in a value thing, or you like an MMO or in Sims you play to gain more identity, or you can change your identity through the effort that you made. Yeah. And I find that the most troublesome players that I've worked with are ones that heavily focus on one of these things. So we have the Mary Sue character, right, which is a character which amasses identity through the game. So they have these 2-color eyes, and they have this often terrible backstory, and they are a hoarder of identity. Or we have the power gamer, which almost has like a lack of identity or almost none in their backstory, and they hoard value. And with my best players, we have this 3rd kind of player, which is a player which amasses narrative. They get gratification from the narration being beautiful, or building scenes, and I think those are my best players often that I work with.
But I'm not sure if we have more narrative players, but I do think we have more light-hearted players that are in it for the narrative ones and not really for the achievements anymore. We just have a fun day with a fun evening with friends, having a beer, and we have some dice. At a vacations, usually with card games, for example, that you brought along. Now we bring a set of dice and one rewritable map.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I do think we see that sort of. What do you think of the cultural shift that we're seeing now that D&D is becoming more mainstream? Because D&D 5e, like we're saying, is very accessible, yet it has this mechanical underlayer that at least pleases some people that are coming from 3.5.
Yeah.
What do these new people look like? What do these new D&Ders? What kind of kids are they?
Well, I think most of our cast are those people, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think your players too, right?
I must say, I can't really say anymore who's a D&D player anymore. It's just, it could be anyone now. For example, Terry Crews plays D&D. If I thought of someone
Terry
who...
Crews.
No, he couldn't play it.
Hit us up.
I would have said him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said it would be more time in the gym or something else, but no, he's also a vivid D&D player.
The
This
ticket's
is
still out
interesting.
on Vin Diesel.
Yeah, Vin Diesel, yeah, definitely. And we have some celebrity D&Ders. One of the most recognizable ones is
Joe
Joe Manganiello. Joe Manganiello. You know Joe Manganiello?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, very
also,
good, yeah.
From the Jocks Machina, you also had the gag going around with you.
Excuse me, did you just say Jocks Machina?
Have you not seen this?
They also put on Travis Willingham, especially Joe Manganiello and two other players. All
Yeah, like a
more
pro
than,
wrestler.
Yeah, and they were just like, we're the Jocks Machina.
Yeah. You're gonna watch this when we get
no,
home.
I'm sorry. you do the conversation. I'm sticking in this visual. Okay.
You see, I think a lot of audience like also branch out to other of these podcasts and actual play shows, which is interesting because that just means that people just consume so much of this, which I understand.
If you bring it back to the watching anime, for example, there are animes that I don't really like to watch. For example, Grimgar is something completely different than Sword Art Online will ever be.
Yeah.
But they're both about games, but they're entirely different narrative point and how they're telling their story. And I think also there are also a lot of people that just hate Critical Role because they don't really like that narrative approach that Matthew takes and how everyone is so deeply into their roles.
So there is of course the effect, like as a D&D live stream, that you're always going to be compared to Critical Role. Is that something that also plays in the back of your mind when you are hosting your stream?
Interesting question. Yeah.
I hope a lot of people just enjoy it. I'm not sure if someone goes, Rick, you're doing like the Matthew Mercer, I'm like, thank you. Awesome, but it's not something I'm aspiring to. I did watch all those DM tips because there are really a lot of good things over there, especially when it comes to a DM screen. But D&D is such a personal thing, so I'm not sure if we could ever please everybody or just be in that regard, or like the same shows. I don't think that could ever happen because the improvisational part of D&D. I'm not sure that any of my players could be as quick-witted as Travis is now with Fjord.
Yes, except when it comes to boat terminology.
Yeah, I think we're gonna close off the conversation for now. It has been so lovely having you.
Absolutely.
It's been
thank you for coming.
super
Thank you
amazing.
for
Thank you
inviting
for
me.
blessing us with your presence, with your ideas. Definitely, D&D Drag also is looking into D&D with kids or doing D&D more on a community based. So you educated us a lot today. And
If you want to start up, hit me up. I'll be glad to help with the rules or setup or whatever.
Absolutely. So if you want to start D&D in your community, then please look at D&Dutch, Vechel Fantasy. Can you maybe plug where we can find you?
At www.vechelfantasy, Vechel with C and then an H, .com. You can find every link that you need to.
Great. Perfect.
And you can find us at Instagram Dungeons and Drag Queens Net. You can find us under Dungeon Drag Queens NL on YouTube.
We also have a Patreon.
We also have a Patreon,
Yeah,
and as we are now the names are flying through the screen.
Oh,
Let's
there they
follow
are.
The names.
Magic.
I feel them raining over me.
Would be funny if I didn't edit anything in now.
How dare you?
No.
And there they came.
Okay, flyby. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you at the next Mother to Mother.
Bye.
I'm stuck.
You're stuck.
Bye.
Stuck in that wig, you mean?
Fuck you. Hey babes! Before you continue watching, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our D&Drag Patreon, where you can help us develop this crazy show further.